Welcome to Talmudic Treasures. Today we're in Megillah 9, which discusses whether or not a person is allowed to translate the Torah as well as other scriptures into other languages. The Talmud says that according to all opinions, one is allowed to translate the Torah itself into the language of Yavanis, Greek. And the reason for that is based on a very famous story that is found on this very page, which is called the origins of the Septuagint. Sept, which means 7, corresponds to 72 scholars that were summoned by Talmai HaMelech. King Talmai gathered these 72 scholars and put them in 72 separate rooms. They had no idea what they were summoned for. He went to each of them separately and he instructed them that they should translate the Torah into Greek. And that's precisely what they did. And what was fascinating is after they finished their job of translating the Torah into Greek, every single sentence, every passage, every verse was identical. And that in itself shouldn't seem so alarming because they certainly knew how to translate. However, the Talmud tells us that there were many areas that they were concerned that if they would translate it literally, that Talmai HaMelech would be extremely offended and perhaps would even seek some form of violent or vengeance toward the Jewish people. And therefore they made certain changes of things that either he would find offensive or things that he would just totally misunderstand. For example, when Moshe went to Egypt with his wife and his family, it says that he went on a donkey. However, Talmai, who was this prominent, powerful man, would not want to hear that. And therefore they translated it to, he went on a noise kol adam, namely, he rode a horse. What's most fascinating is that there are numerous animals that the Torah say only bear one of the two kosher signs for it to be edible. And one of those is a pig, of course, a camel, a hare, and an hyrax. These are different types of rabbits. The translation is arneves. However, they realized that would be an issue because arneves was actually the name of King Talmai's wife. And therefore, they translated the word for hare and hyrax for this rabbit to a different word so as not to offend the king.